Am I the jerk for making my sister sleep in the dog bed outside overnight? So I'm currently in a leg and arm cast due to an accident and so temporarily moved back home with the rents and my younger sister. My parents are currently out of town and so it was just me and my sister. My sister has a tendency of leaving her keys behind/losing them and usually we have to open for her. She was going out for a party Friday night and I warned her to triple check that she had her keys before she left. Surprise surprise, she left the keys behind so she called me at like 3 a.m. drunk and telling me to open up for her. Getting up is missions in my condition and I'd warned so I told her straight up that I wasn't coming downstairs to open for her so she should call a friend and stay there for the night, hung up then put my phone on D&D. She screamed my name for a while until one of the neighbors told her to shut up and so she, instead of calling a friend, decided to sleep in the old dog bed outside. Found her there in the morning and woke her up to get inside. She was hella pissed and yelled at me for making her sleep in the dog bed. She also found a tick on her later and blames that on me too. We've been fighting back and forth over this and so here we are for some impartial voices. I feel bad that she slept outside, but also feel like that was poor choice on her part. Am I the jerk? Am I the jerk for crying after I didn't like what I got for my birthday? It was my 16th birthday yesterday and I was opening the gifts that my parents had bought me. I've never been interested in sports, I find it really boring. I like painting and art way more and my parents know that. Almost every birthday they give me sport-related gifts, footballs, some team merch, etc. I don't even know what some of it is because I don't care about sports. I asked my parents to get me a specific set of pens for my birthday. I've wanted them for ages. I opened my present and every single one of them was sport-related. I just sat there and started crying in front of them. I didn't mean to cry, it was embarrassing, but I feel like they never listened to me. They've spent all of this money on expensive gifts that they know I hate and will never use. I told them this and they accused me of being ungrateful and said that I've ruined the day. They sent me to my room and I haven't really spoken to them since. Am I the jerk? Should I just be grateful that they got me anything at all? Am I the jerk for walking out of my friend's birthday dinner after my sex life was brought up? My friend Julie and I, 38F, have been friends for 25 years and are very close. Right now we are both single. What's bothering me is Julie is obsessed with sex. She acts like she is a character in Sex and the City. She overshares everything. And I think because I used to talk about sex when I was younger, she still thinks that applies to current times. For what it's worth, I haven't spoken about my sex life in years. At my birthday dinner a few years ago, Julie asked me in front of our friends when the last time I had sex was and got super offended when I wouldn't answer, to the point where our friend had to step in and say leave her alone. Last month I was out with Julie and randomly she said, I am going to ask you a question and you are not going to like it. Then she said, when was the last time you had sex? Like an idiot I answered her. I had been drinking and my guard was down. My fault completely. Yesterday we went out to dinner for Julie's birthday and her mom was there. At some point her mom asked why it has been so many years since I had sex. I was shocked and couldn't believe Julie told her mom my personal business. She complains so much about her mom, how she is a narcissist and she has set boundaries with her, etc. Apparently not. I was really pissed and embarrassed. After a few minutes I got up like I was going to the restroom and instead walked right out of the restaurant. Once I was safely on the train I texted Julie and told her I had to leave because I did not want to be there anymore after what happened. Julie is really upset and is saying she is sorry, but right now I don't think I can ever talk to her about anything again. All she does is run to her mom and blab everything. And who knows who else. Am I the jerk for walking out? I think I handled it wrong, but I just couldn't sit there for the rest of the night and hang out like nothing happened. Am I the jerk for sending my dad a list on why I don't consider him father? Some background on my relationship with my father. He left when I was around 10. I was an accident and only my mom wanted to keep me. They weren't even in a relationship, it was just supposed to be a one-night stand. The only reason he was in my life at all was because his parents forced him. I only saw him twice after he left, once a couple months later when he came to get something he left and another at the funeral of his parents. He paid child support, but that's about it, no calls on special occasions, no gifts for birthdays or Christmas, nothing. I hated him at first, but eventually I let it go. As someone with no plans on having kids, soon I empathized with him a bit. I'm getting married and invitations went out. I didn't send one to him because I assumed he wouldn't want one anyway. Well, the other day I got a message from him asking why he wasn't invited since he needs to walk me down the aisle. I told him I didn't invite him because I didn't think he wanted to come. As for walking me down the aisle, he wasn't in my life enough for me to consider him a father figure, so he will not get that privilege. He replied that it didn't matter, he was still my father, so that is his right. That upset me. He's been avoiding his fatherly duties for over 10 years and now he's trying step up. So I told him I'm going to send him a list of things he needed to do before I consider him my father. He agreed to this plan. Here are some of the things on the list. 1. Send 13 years of birthday present. 2. Send 13 years of Christmas present. 3. Attend my high school graduation. 4. Attend my college graduation. 5. Teach me to ride a bicycle. 6. Teach me to drive, plus a bunch of other milestones in life he missed. He was not happy about this list and called me disrespectful. My mom found about this and she is disappointed in me. She said I should have just told him no and moved on, there was no need to be cruel. I told her I didn't do it out of malice, I did it to show him how much he missed and it was ridiculous of him to expect to be the one to walk me down the aisle. She still thinks I was cruel. Am I the jerk for not accommodating my roommate's girlfriend? I, F22, am fresh out of university and currently living in a house share with 3 roommates. One was randomly assigned, the other 2 are friends from uni. The randomly assigned roommate is John, M24. When he isn't at work, John is mostly in his room playing video games and doesn't really talk much. He has a girlfriend, Rose, F21. We didn't know she existed until randomly one day she started living in our house a couple of months ago. She's not on the lease or anything. We don't share our food, shopping and our rent is bills included, so no one was really bothered about Rose living here. Rose is unemployed and isn't in any kind of education. She's similar to John and doesn't really speak to anyone. She just sleeps all day and plays video games all night. I choose to work nights because it is an option in my job and it's better pay and I can really use the money. When I'm working, I'm normally getting home at around 5 or 6 a.m. Normally as soon as I get home from work, I do some housework to keep the place clean and make my dinner, then go to bed. This does make some noise, which I do try to keep to a minimum, and I know 5 or 6 is very early for a lot of people. This never bothered John or my other 2 roommates as they are either heavy sleepers or have to get up at this time anyway to go to work in the morning. Recently, John has been complaining and said that I am waking up Rose when I get home from work. He says she's a very light sleeper and that I'm disturbing her. I suggested earplugs, but he said I should be the one to change my habits since I'm the source of the noise. He said I could at least spend less time cooking my dinner. I think this is unreasonable, and it's not like I'm blasting music for no reason, I'm just doing basic things. I asked if it really was such a big deal, since it's not like Rose has a job or anything to go to and she can just sleep in later. This made John blow up at me and he told me that I'm crossing the line and commenting on things that aren't my business. Am I the jerk? Am I the jerk for crying after my baby's gender was revealed? My wife, 31F, and I, 30M, were having a gender reveal for our first child. My wife doesn't mind what gender the baby is, she just wanted to get a few friends and family together for a small party and she was under the impression that I thought that too. Neither of us were interested in doing anything big, we just had a friend to read out the letter and reveal the gender. I didn't tell my wife this, but I was really hoping for a daughter instead of a son, so when it was revealed that we'll be having a boy it really upset me. I didn't want to ruin the day though, so I just tried to act normal and celebrate with my wife and the family. Later on, after everyone had left, I was alone in our room whilst my wife was downstairs. I was sitting on the bed and just started crying. I don't often cry, I think it's a waste of my time and unnecessary, but I was just really panicking. I really wanted a daughter because my dad was really shitty to me and he messed me up a lot. I'm scared that I will be the same to my son. I don't want to fuck my son up like my dad did to me. I've been scared about turning into my dad since before I met my wife. The big reason I didn't want kids originally was in case I treated them like my dad treated me. My wife walked in on me crying and I tried to explain why without talking about my dad much. She doesn't know anything about what my dad was like. She told me that I was selfish and called me a few other things. Then told me to sleep on the couch. She hasn't really been the same with me since, she's still really annoyed. Am I the jerk?